Hey everybody. So it is Friday. Payday, yay. Boo, it's all gone already. The life of a budget. Um, but it's nice actually knowing where my money is going and whatnot. But today was day 10 on the trainer's truck. And there was actually something a little different about today. So um, we get to the drop yard outside of Toledo, and we get sent over to Menards distribution center to go pick up a trailer from there instead of from the drop yard. And guys, this distribution center, I've been to a couple of distribution centers before, not in a truck. Well, yes, in a truck when I was with my buddy, but never driving myself. And because there's a few around the Dayton area that I've seen and been around. Like I did go and check out the Meyer distribution center over in just north of Dayton earlier this year after the tornado came through and knocked a bunch of it, damaged a bunch of the distribution center. But nothing that I have ever seen yet compares to this Menards distribution center. So they literally have 26 rows for trailers to park, and each row probably can handle between 50 and 60 trailers. And then their building, they actually had, like, I think 3 buildings that have docks on them, and they have well north of 200 docks. So this was definitely a learning experience, but it's very well organized. I did have to educate my trainer on something. So phonetic alphabet, a lot of people use that, and it's I've used the International Phonetic Alphabet for a very long time, and S is Sierra because you spell it Sierra. Well, he's like, oh, Sierra? That's in C. I'm like, no, it's not. C is Charlie. S is Sierra. He's like, no. Yeah. So I actually had to bring it up and show him, because he was trying to take us back to C, because for the first time yet in my driving with on this account, I actually had to use my 30-minute break. So to save time, I went off duty and he picked up the stuff. He dropped the trailer. He picked up the one that we were picking up and ran me through doing, going and communicating with the guard post on getting the bill of lading and all of that, because I had to take a 30-minute break, and then he pulled it out into the outside parking lot, and finished my break there, and then I took over for the rest of the day. So that was cool. It broke up the. I don't want to say that this account is monotonous. It is absolutely a wonderful account for a home daily account, and it's a good training account for someone like me who already has a good idea of what it's like to actually sleep and live in the truck for a while, because I went, because of going going on that regional account with my buddy as a passenger. He was out for 5 or 6 days at a time, and then came back. So I got to experience that stuff, and you know that's good that I had that experience. So that all of that time on his truck as a passenger, it doesn't count for my training, but it was training, and it gave me a head start for wherever company I did decide to go with. Um, it he taught me about using a tablet. His company used Qualcomm's. Werner uses a different system. But managing your hours of service is pretty much universal, regardless of what ELD you are using. So that gave me today about an extra 50 miles, and driving through a little town, and some tighter turns, which I did perfectly fine on those. But being payday, I actually went and got some real food today. Yeah, I sat down and actually had a sit down dinner tonight. Nothing outrageous. I just went and got a cheeseburger at Quaker Steak and Lube. It was fantastic, and the scenery was pretty good. My waitress kind of looked like Alexa Bliss, so I was blissfully in heaven. Like I said, can look at the menu, just don't order. But other than that, tonight I'm exhausted. I did. My trainer said that the phones didn't work on the aux input on his radio. So when we got to work this morning, we get fired up and everything, do my pre-trip, and then go through the go through what our assigned load is, and it was actually the OTR guy that dropped it. He was actually still hooked up to it, so we had to wait a few minutes for him to get decoupled and moved and whatnot. And he was cool. It didn't bother him that he had to move it, and he was awake to begin with, so thankfully we didn't have to wake him up. But that gave me an opportunity, since I'm getting a lot more confident and comfortable every day. I figured I'd give it a shot to see if I could get it to work. Plugged it in and fired it up right in one shot. Now, I have an iPhone. My trainer does not. He's got an Android. I don't know what kind. I think he's got a Samsung. But regardless of what phone he has, mine just worked. So, I was jamming to my music today instead of having to channel surf every 5 seconds to try to find something worth listening to. Most of the day I had the window down and the system up. This morning was long. The trip out to Archbold was it took probably an extra 30 minutes over what it normally did, because I was literally as heavy as you can be. And even though that Peterbilt's got some oomph, it still was it was dropping down going uphill today, which is actually the first time. This was the first load that I've actually encountered with that. So mad props to the new Peterbilts, because my buddy's Volvo, it was losing speed going uphill with only 28,000-30,000 pounds. The That Peterbilt, under 40,000 pounds, it don't lose but maybe 1 mile an hour. And it doesn't even have to go down to 11th. So mad props. So one thing I'm looking at, and if anybody, or not looking at, but looking for, I had a thought last night while I was trying to sleep. So with the living in the truck and whatnot, I've like I said, I have the Food Network flippable griddle thing, and it's about this size. So this is a size of a normal 3-ring binder. It might actually be a little bit more like that long. So maybe about 12, maybe about 14, 15 inches. And while we've been, stopped, if we've had to be stopped and waiting for something for, more than a couple minutes, I've been sitting in the back on the bunk, kind of getting a feel for the sizing and for the configuration of the truck and whatnot. And, I know I may not get a Pete. I'm going to try to get a Pete. I'm going to ask for a Pete. And I think when you do get assigned, or when you're ready to be assigned a truck, they ask you what ones that you might want. And so I'm going to ask for a Pete as my first, and then a Kenworth as my second, because the Peterbilt has an 80-inch sleeper, the ones that Werner uses. The Kenworth has I want to say a 78. It's either 76 or 78. And then the Freightliner, I think, has a 72. And then the International has a 70. So I really don't want an International. Besides the fact that everybody seems to complain about Internationals. Now, I don't know how valid that is, or if that's just people bitching to bitch. But I really like the Peterbilt. I like the way it looks. Although I do like the look of the headlights on the Kenworth better. But that is 100% an aesthetic reasoning. Has nothing to do with functionality. But I want the Peterbilt because it's got a little bit more space that I can work with. But so I had the thought last night of needing a little bit more surface area in specific tasks, like, for instance, cooking, because I don't necessarily want to put my cooking stuff on my bed while it's in use. And at least in the Pete, the fold out tray that you can use as a desk or a table, it's kind of small. I mean, it fit a laptop pretty good, but it doesn't have a whole lot. So I was thinking of like a table, either building or buying a table that can fold up, that will go in between the two cabinets, and that I could sit on either the swivel chair up front or sit on the bed and use it to cook with, to cook on as a good flat surface to cook, and whatnot. Now I may end up just having to make it, which I don't have a problem with that. But I've never actually made anything that had like a folding component. I've only ever made static legs. So if anybody has any ideas on that, or even a product or something, that would be cool. Please share that with me if you do have any ideas on that. But really, that's where I'm at. I'm I'm doing okay today. A little bit. I watched the season finale of The Boys. Season 3. Yeah, see, season 3. Yeah, the current one, the current season. And I'm a crier to begin with, but this one, there was one certain point um, that um, that just made me freaking full on ugly cry. And it I'm not ashamed to admit that. But I I I'm tired, so I'm gonna go to bed. Keep the shiny side up.